Hey guys, welcome back. For this video we're gonna add our aim up and aim down, because you can see the body is not following our lead, so we're gonna change that. Something I wanted to fix for a long time. What we need to do to get this done is to create new animations for it, very simple animations. So let's start a Blender. Because what we're gonna do, we're gonna make use of the animations from Mixamo, which we have, but they don't have an aim up or aim down, which we need. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna open up copy one. So let's open up the models folder, go to your Soldier Pro or whatever you call it, and let's just modify the idle aiming. Or we're not gonna modify it, we're gonna open this folder. So right click it and open the folder, and then we go to our idle aiming, and let's open this one. So I'm copying this one, I'm gonna say open, there we go, where is it? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. You don't open, you import the FBX. So select import FBX, and now go to your folder where you got the idle aiming. Import it, and don't get confused by everything you see right now, because what we're gonna do, just remove everything from the scene except the armature. So just right click and delete it. We don't need these. Oops, we need that one. So all you got left is the render layer, the world, and your armature. Now you can see here the rig that came from Mixamo. And if you look closely, these are the fingers here of one arm, the other arm. This is his head, his spline, his legs are all down here. So if you start the animation, you can see what's going on. But what we're gonna do, if you switch over to the animation window, and now you see the armature here, and zoom in all the way, because it got many keyframes in the dope sheet. There we go, zoom it in using your scroll wheel. Okay. And now we're gonna select one of the splines. So if you change this, if you switch to pose mode, there we go, and then select the spline down here, the one all the way down. Because if we rotate this one on the x-axis, you can see our guy change. So now he's looking down, now he's looking up. Okay, so with that selected, if you scroll down on the dope sheet, you can see it highlighted in white is the one we want. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna box select, hit B, and select everything here except for the first keyframe. Didn't select it, I think. There we go. So select the it's a little bit a hassle here, but you'll get it done. I'm sure there's a much easier way to do this, but this is the way I know. So just hit X and then delete the keyframes. So now we only have the first keyframe. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna box select this again, and then hit Shift D to duplicate it and drag it all the way to the end. Okay, then left click to lock it in place, and now put your this green line by left dragging it on the last keyframe, and then we say rotate by pressing R, then on the x-axis by pressing X, and then type -50. So -50, and hit enter. So now you can see it's aiming up. It's aiming up. I think you can change the way the let's see, I'm not really sure where it is. Maybe it's a little bit better if we change it to sticks, or no, not really. So let's keep it like this. Okay, now with this done and with the bone still selected, hit the I from insert, I key, and we select the keyframe and we say lock rot, doesn't really matter, lock rotation. So we add the rotation to it. So now if you drag this, you can see him aiming up. Yeah, okay. With that done, just hit save, save as, oh no, I'm sorry, we're gonna export it, FBX, go to your Soldier Pro folder again, and let's save it to aim up. Okay, that's it, hit export FBX, there we go. Now we're going to do exactly the same for aim down. So with this selected, hit rotate again, the R key, X again, and then add 100. So it's now 50 degrees looking down, which should be more than enough. If you want more, just change it the way you want. Again, don't forget to hit the I key and say lock rot again. Make sure it works the way we want, and then we say file, export FBX, aim down. All right, now we can close up Blender. I don't really need to change these savings, save the changes, but you can see aim up and aim down are now inside Unity. So let's change the motion name here as well, aim down, hit apply, don't select loop like we did with the previous animations, and aim up and apply. So we got aim down, aim up. Yeah, cool. Now now we need to add a mask, because if you an animation mask is you can select certain bones which you want to animate, and we only want to animate that take the one from the spline. So what we're going to do in your animation controller, maybe good place, right click, create, and select the avatar mask. That's the way it goes, an avatar mask, and let's call this spline. And with that selected, check the transform, and then we're going to use a skeleton from the SWAT avatar. Select it, say import. Yeah, we could do this, but I think we could also do this avatar. It doesn't really matter. They got the same bone structure, so I believe they got the same bone structure. Just double check it. Import. It got a little bit less, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm using the aim down avatar. Now just uncheck everything. There are splines. I'm not entirely sure which one we're gonna check, but let's check the this one and uncheck the others. So it will only animate this part. At least that's what we're trying to do. Okay, with that done, let's open up our animation controller. And now we need to, we're going to create a new mask. Sorry, a new layer. So let's call this aim angle. And create a new blend tree. Let's call this aiming. Enter. Okay. And now we're gonna add a 1D blend type, which is also already checked, and let's create two motion fields. And now we're gonna add the aim up and the aim down. There we go. we're not going to use automate thresholds. You can look up in the documentation what it needs, what it actually is. But let's say the threshold is -90 and +90. So basically these are our angles. -90 degrees up, +90 degrees down. Okay, so those are our angles. But what we need to do, if you click this crossing, this star icon or whatever it's called on the aim angle, set the weight to 1, so it's fully putting the weight on it, and then select the avatar mask we're going to use. So we're going to use the spline, and we're going to say override or additive. I think additive, so it will add to our animation. Okay, let's see if it works. We're going to need a parameter for it. You can call it aim angle. I already created it here. And in our layer, double click your blend tree, change the parameter here to change it to aim angle. Alright, so that will control our aim angle. Okay, so let's see what happens if we do this. So we hit play. Now obviously we aren't controlling the aim angle yet, but let's select the player, so make sure we are animating what we want to animate. The player SWAT. There we go. Now you can see him aiming up and down, and if we keep it like this, it will blend in the animation because we're only using the spline. So that works, and now we only need to control it from our scripts. Alright, to do so, let's create a new script in our, let's see, in our combat, and let's call this player aim. I'm saying combat, but we can better move it to our player. We're probably going to change the crosshair as well, but let's start with the player aim first. So open it up. You can see I switched platform to my Windows environment, but it doesn't really matter. So we're going to need a public void set rotation, so which will rotate, and then we say transform Euler angles equals new factor 3. This will be transform Euler angles dot x, and because we're gonna use the x angle, and then we subtract the amount, and then we say for the others transform Euler angles y, transform Euler angles z. So we're not changing those. Okay, now we want to get the angle as well, so we want to know the angle. So if we make a public float get angle, which will return us the angle -90 or 90 when it maxed out and everything between it. To do so, we need to make a small calculation for our Euler angle. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe this could be done more easy, but we're going to do it like this. Check angle, which will take a value, and then we say float angle equals the value, and we subtract 180 from it. So basically, when I will explain it more in detail later on, but if you look at the looking straight forward isn't 0, it's like a different direction. So we want to check if the angle, if it's greater than 0, we're going to return the angle again, the same angle we have, and we remove 180 from it. And this is of course float. Now if the angle otherwise, we're going to say return angle and we add 180 again, 180 degrees to it. So then we say here return check angle, and this will be our transform Euler angles X. All right, now switch back to our Unity. We create a new empty game object, and let's call this our aiming pivot. It doesn't necessarily have to be where's our player? Doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle or something, because we're going to use the XRotation for it. Just keep it at 0, 0. Should be okay. Now add our player aim to our rotation thingy. Now let's check what it does. So if we say here get angle, so in the update we just say just for testing, update print check angle. Oh no, we could say, of course, get angle print, sorry guys, print get angle. Now let's see what happens if we hit play. I don't see anything moving here. A player aim should be running. Avoid print test. Make sure it's updating. There it goes. Okay, maybe it wasn't done because I can see the 0 now there as well. Wait for it to compile. Let's hit play. Now you can see it's 0. Now if I reduce it, you're gonna see it's 365 here, but I'm saying -3 right now here. So if I'm even further reducing it, you can see what happens. Now if I move back to 0, and I'm gonna go look down, so give it a positive, you can see it doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, so that's because of the thing we are using here. I use it once and I keep using it. So okay, let's remove the update. Now we're gonna need the player to actually get this angle and set it to our animation. So first we're gonna set the rotation in our player script. So open up your player. Now down here we're gonna say, if you scroll down to the look around method, we're gonna we first need to create a reference to our aimer. Let's just put it right here. Make a public player aim. Now we're gonna assign it first through the inspector here. It's a player aim. Drag and drop our aiming pivot on it. All right. Now with that selected in our look around, say player aim, set rotation, and then we're gonna use the same thing we use for the crosshair look height. We're probably gonna change this all the way, but let's keep it there now to read it like so. Okay, now with that done, we actually need to change the values for our animation. So let's open up our player animation. Player aim. It's a weird name, player aim, but we're gonna keep it like this. All right, and now we need a reference to our player to get the to our player aim object. So let's make a private player aim. Player aim. We can make this private as well. Private player aim. Get, which will if check for the player aim equals null. player aim is equals game manager instance local player aim. Let me check here. This phone is not important. Just gonna keep it ringing. Now with the we need to return the player aim. There we go. Phone is getting on my nerve, and I'm not sure if you're hearing it, but okay. Let's set the animator set float and our aim angle. I believe we got the animator parameter. Yeah, aim angle, which will be our player aim. Get angle. Okay. Now let's check here our player. If we forget something, I don't think so. Setting the rotation. Let's give it a check. There we go. Now if I move up and down, I can change it. Alright, so I got interrupted. I had to take the call, which I did. Okay. Where were we? Okay, we were aiming up and down, which worked. By the way, like I said, we're gonna change the way the crosshair works, because right now the crosshair is not looking exactly at our player, and it continues going down and up, even though our angle isn't the same for our player. So basically, we're gonna remove our minimum maximum angle, because we have the minimum maximum angle set on our animation. All right. So to do that, we simply gonna drag in. Let's drag our crosshair to our aiming pivot and open up the crosshair. And let's first comment the look height method and see what happens. There we go. This does exactly what I want it to do, but now you can see it like here. You can see it going up and down here. So we can fix that by clamping it, of course. Let's first check it out one more time. Yeah, it switches away when we look too much up and down. But if we keep it in the viewport, it's doing what we want. Okay, let's first make a small adjustment to the distance. What you can do if you go to your prefab folder, the assault rifle bullet, go to your mesh, add a new mesh renderer, and do nothing else. Then you get one with an empty, with a non-material, but it doesn't really matter. But now you can see your bullet again. And now you see that it's not really in the center. We're gonna change the crosshair anyway. I want it to be like less accurate when we are walking, and add an aiming script. So when we hit the right mouse for something, we're gonna change the camera over the shoulder of the player and create a crosshair. But for now, we're just gonna change the position of the crosshair a little bit. So let's increase the z-axis so it moves a little bit further, maybe 15. You don't actually see it here, a little bit maybe. Now let's move it a little bit to the left until it's like in line with our weapon. Let's go here. So now if I shoot, reload, this is okay. So minus 5.6. So let's copy this and paste it here. Okay, now I think that does exactly. We can pick up ammo and we can look up and down. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next video.